I'm Alex Del Sordo, and I'm in a hotel room having a beer. And this is the first series. This is the first video that we're going to be doing. And the point of this is to talk about racing. Now, I care deeply about it. I think most people at Rowers Choice really care deeply about it. And I assume that everyone watching this actually cares about high school rowing or collegiate rowing and the results that happen each week. We are going to be talking about the races that occurred during the week, the results, and some of the information that you may not see on Road 2K, and then we're going to talk about what's in line for the future. And this week we're talking about specifically the Youth Cup Series down in Sarasota last weekend and the Sarasota Invite that I am at this weekend right now. It was really fun to see the results from last weekend, the Youth Cup Series number 1. Chicago Rowing Foundation men's team took first place by a margin of 5.5 seconds. The Chicago Rowing Foundation, just off of a major victory at the head of the hooch in like November timeframe, 5 months later coming in for a huge victory over Sarasota Crew. Now, the one that I was a bit shocked on was the women's side. The women's 8 was won by a little over a second by Sarasota Crew. Now, they got some speed this year, it's clear, but Chicago took second place in a 9-year-old Resolute. Personally, I was very happy to see that. They have just placed an order for a brand new one, so fingers crossed that margin gets cut by a lot, if not a victory, the next time they row on our new boat. But I looked at the other results for the women's 4, and this is a big shock, at least to me. I was surprised about the depth. Now, I thought Sarasota had a deeper crew, placing, looks like 6th place in the women's 4. Greenwich took number 1. Greenwich had not been on the water all season, came on down for a week in Florida, took victory in the women's 4. The men's 4, however, I'm gonna pull this one up here. And we're going to edit this, CJ. I'm with CJ right now. We're testing this thing out to see if it works. But I did want to see the men's 4, which I was not paying attention to. No surprise, Sarasota Crew. Sarasota, year after year after year, coached by Casey Galvanic, has a very deep squad. He focuses on the 8s always. I think, was it 2 years ago, they had a couple seniors that were sub 6'10", absolute horses. And again, no surprise taking first place in this week's series. Now, the one I'm looking forward to is the Sarasota Invite. I was very surprised. 70 crews, 70 different teams attending the regatta over the weekend. And we have one flight of girls varsity 8. And my money right now is on Sora. I would be shocked. In lane 4, they are the top seeded crew for the weekend. They took 4th place last week behind some pretty fast crews. I'd be shocked if they didn't take first place this weekend. For the men's team, kind of up in the air. We have a couple programs that it's their first race for the weekend, so you can't expect a whole lot of speed coming from them, but my money's going to be on Bell and Jesuit, probably with a tight finish of Vero Beach. Now, there's not a whole lot of racing going on in America right now, mostly indoor rowing. But in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be looking at some of the early races in the season. A lot of races coming up in the Philadelphia market, the Philadelphia region. And I expect to see some college races coming in down in the south. The Heart of Texas is in 2 weeks, and we're going to see a lot of Masters racing, and we'll get into some of the results on that side. But high school racing really doesn't really kick off for another 3 weeks. So more from the Rowers Choice video series soon. Can I get another one of these? Thanks.